Okay, let's now move on to exercise 1-2. In exercise 1-1, we calculated the totals for each of the monthly amounts of our expense budget. If we look at an individual month, let's pick January for example, and we're to click on that cell. Up here in the cell references, we can see that the formula is equal sum from B6 to B13. That's B6 down to B13. So that's where the formula appears up here in the formula bar. Now as we move to exercise 1-2, we're going to use a different formula. Instead of summing the column, over here at the end we are going to calculate percentages. Let me remove these percentages so that I can show you step by step how we will calculate them. First of all, we want to calculate the percentage of this expense of $7,200 for the year as a percentage of the total expenses that's in cell N-14. To do that, we start with the equal sign, and we will take the amount that's in N6 and divide it by the amount that's in N14. Let's see what the result is. Well, it's 42%. So we know that the amount of our rent is 42% of our monthly budget of expenses. Now we want to calculate similar percentages for each of the other expense categories down the column. Now if we do that, just like we've done in the previous formulas, if we were to copy this to the next cell, notice that I get an error message. Well, let's take a look at what the formula is telling us up here in the formula bar. What it's trying to do is to take N7, which is the correct amount that we want to divide into, but it's dividing it by N15, not by N14. So again, we have relative cells, because as we move the formula from up here at 06 and we move it down to 07, it's moving the amounts relative to the positioning of the new formula based on where the new amounts would be. So as I move this one down, it comes to the next number down. It's going to do the same down here for the total. It's going to jump to the next row, which we know there's nothing in the next row. So what we want to have is that we freeze the divisor, which is N14, so that it will, as we copy the formula down, it will use N14 all the way down. Now we could do that one at a time, but if we had a lot of numbers, that would be not very efficient with our time. So let's delete this formula because that didn't work, and let's see what we need to do to this formula here. In our previous video, we talked about absolute versus relative references. And therefore we know that for the divisor we need to put dollar signs in there. Let's do a shortcut here. If we go up to the formula area and we highlight the cell reference that we want to have as absolute and press the F4 key, that's the F4 key, it will automatically insert the dollar signs for us. And as we hit the enter key, it will give us the same percentage that we had up here, except now we have the divisor being an absolute number or an absolute cell reference. So now we're able to do autofill by bringing all of that down to down the column, and you can see that it's now calculating all of the calculations. And of course 17,100 is 100% of itself, so we know that's correct. We can just delete this cell because we don't need it, and we can add some formatting to our total, and now we have our percentage formulas based on the use of an absolute cell reference divided into a relative cell reference.